Hey, there's more people. Manu, what's up? Yes.
Hi, Manu. Hello.
Hello.
We can't hear you if you're speaking.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hi, Liviade. Hi, Rex.
Hi.
What's up?
Not much, just joining to see how can I help.
Hi, Rainy.
Rainy.
Hi.
Welcome, guys. Yeah, so for today, there's not much planned, but there are a few things that I think could be worth discussing. So, Softgov was working in that. Sorry about the. Uh, I think it's loud behind me here. The Softgov was working on this poll, this TC stakeholder sentiment analysis, and I've been distributing that, reaching out to people, and I think we have some answers already. It's a little dark here. So there's that happening, and also, so I don't think there's much to be done there. Only if you haven't participated yet, please do so. And Rex brought up something, a discussion about what to do about XDAI. Should we diversify our holdings? How is the TC going to resist if there's some type of instability to the chain? So I think this is more of a simple conversation, but yeah, I think we should definitely just bring awareness to everyone in the community and just start a discussion, discussing it more. So I don't know if you want to share something, Rex.
Sure. Well, of course, all of you might have heard the tornado cash sanctions that happened fairly recently, and given that DAI, like between a third and a half of DAI is actually backed by USDC, there's been a lot of talk within the MakerDAO community as to how to what to do in the case that they be sanctioned, or whether this is this negatively impacts the level of decentralization. And it's all very much up in the air as to what they would like to do. There's been suggestions to start to sell off USDC for ETH, which would and move away from the peg, which would impact XDAI, for it is a one-to-one to DAI, and by extension our common pool. So I've been speaking with Nate and with Gideon, and there's a lot of different ideas as to what to do. Because ultimately what we do not, because Nate was saying that our common pool is built for a stable asset and a volatile asset, not two volatile assets, so that could be problematic. And not only that, but a sell-off event in DAI would we would receive the full brunt of a sell-off event in DAI and XDAI were that to happen. because our common pool is X DAI, aside from TC tokens.
You said you were gonna post that in the forum, right? I thought it was really great, that write-up you had.
Oh yes, I've completely forgot. I've basically just been talking with people over DMs, but it would be good to bring all the conversations together in the forums. So I'll make sure to post it now.
Yeah, I think even if you just copy paste what you sent me and post it like now in the forum, use this time, I think it would be great just to raise more awareness. We're not sure who checks the forum every day, but it's a good practice, you know, to not have just siloed conversations.
I've been checking every day to see if people, to see, how many people read the working group weekly updates that I've come back to do. Maybe it's vanity, but try to keep up with what's happening there. Regarding the stakeholder, I don't know if maybe that's a different point in the agenda, but before I forget, regarding the stakeholder sentiment analysis, being that I'm leading the marketing efforts, I do have the subscription list of all the people in HubSpot, and we also have a tool that we haven't been using a lot, which are HubSpot forms, which they're basically Google forms, but the inputs get saved into the HubSpot CRM that we have. So if you like, maybe we could do something in that respect, so that the data acquisition and management is more automated that way, and sort of like incorporated into the flow of information that we have. Um, I'm sending out the special edition newsletter with the audit. Maybe I can do something similar next week for the token holders. Just an email with a call to action to ask them how they feel about what we're doing and current market circumstances. So that's on the table.
You mean sending a newsletter to everyone with that on the topic? Is that what you said?
Yeah, well, wouldn't be a newsletter, but yeah, sending an email, like a mass email, and just asking people to whatever information we were asking them to assess the sentiment analysis, to assess. So I don't know how you're going about it, but those are the tools that I have, and yeah.
Nice, thank you. Oh, I thought you were talking about what Rex was talking about. Yeah, that could be good to include into some type of email. I've been messaging people one-on-one and also posted, I tagged everyone here on Discord too. Let me see actually how many people answered. And hello, NT.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. There's not much um, going on today. Yeah, we were just talking about the police. Let me share my screen.
Oh, cool.
About police that has been going around, and also this next big decision that we should make about DAI, X DAI. But it just sounds like we need to post on the forum and then
What's
yeah,
the
try to end
decision?
the conversation there.
What's the decision?
What Rex was explaining now, that I mean, with the instability of DAI, X DAI will be affected, and what are we going to do about it?
Interesting. Well,
And you had on that text you sent me, Rex, there was 3 like options for how to go about it that you had written. I think there could be a oh, he's gone. Oh, cool. We had 39 people participating. That's not bad. And still, I didn't finish the reaching out. And there was 11 new statements submitted. That's a good sign too. Transparency is very good for understanding resource input, output, and general sentiment. I need to be notified.
Is it that only you get to see the results? I completed it and I wanted to see sort of like the results I was expecting. Is it only you that you can see the distribution of opinions across the different questions?
Oh, I can't see it yet until I close it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but as soon as I close it, I'll share them for sure. Those are just when you can submit new points, you can submit new statements. So then new people that are voting on them can also respond. It's just a little bit of a bummer because the latest ones, I mean, probably people won't go back to it and answer the ones that are missing. So I think that would look a little scattered in the final analysis, it wouldn't look so accurate because it's not taking all opinions into account. So I don't know if it's the best option is to accept them or not. Maybe it is good to accept.
Yeah, I just went back and there's 10 more questions which I will fill, but like you said, not a lot of people will go back.
Well, if is there anything that you guys would like to discuss? Or do you think that is there anything you think should be brought up to the community? Any decisions that need to be made? Anything culture wise that needs to be on the radar?
Yeah, just that I'm preparing a forum post on. I'm doing research on value theory, trying to understand the multidimensional meaning of value away from just like economic value or quantitative. So depending on, I'm reading a book that uh, approaches value from different contexts, from like value, like what value is for philosophy, what value is for psychology, what value is for sociology, what value is for neuroscience, and the finality of it, I hope, is that it'll bring out new avenues for us to come up with ways to create utility for the TC away from governance value. So I'll be preparing that and posting it on the forum eventually.
Amazing. That's really interesting.
I have something. Hey, Bear. I have something to. I think overall, first of all, we are about, or we are currently going through a lot of changes, and those are things that we can. I guess there's not really much to do about them now, but we should certainly be aware of them and just prepare because they are likely just getting started. Uh, and there's another thing. I don't even know if I should be talking about that here because I don't know how open is that. But for example, in sample, we've had a bit of a blocker with a member of the community with a project, and we haven't been able to address that. And so, like, I guess just wondering how from our instance and culture and whatever, how should we just approach that? I don't know. I don't want to give too much detail because I'm I'm not even. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that, but it's, that does still concern me.
If it feels delicate for you, it's probably something gravity could help with. Like if it's something that involves a member of the community, you don't feel comfortable to say who it is or what happened. Um, Gravity has like a privacy protocol, and maybe it's the right place to go.
Okay, yeah, cool.
And you mentioned that you feel like there's a lot of things changing. And is there something a little more specific that you would like to bring into discussion?
Mm, Well, I guess the Steward's reformation proposal. Also, Sampo is making a lot of things and just trying to move as fast as possible. The communications working group is going under a major um, I don't know, like they are redoing the working group as far as I know, in a lot of senses. And so I guess those are things that in one way or another are going to impact all of the people in the community, and I don't know if there's anything we can do about it or if we should do anything at all.
Does it feel uncomfortable to you, or is there like what would you wish that something was done about it?
uh, that's the thing. I don't know right now. Everything feels like, I don't know if that's because it is also summer and there's not a lot of movement, but everything feels like it's moving pretty fast, but at the same time you don't really have um that much people or that much engagement, and so it's like, um I don't know. I'm like in a limbo. I don't feel anything concrete, and just a lot of discussions, and I don't even know where are we standing overall, because I feel like we are changing so much things that it's like, are we? Is there going to be anything left from the TC I knew when I started? It's not that dramatic, but some sense.
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate concern. Um, I think but that's just my opinion. I think the financial crisis, or just understanding how we didn't consider token utility since the beginning of the design process. I
Yeah.
think that created some sort of a blocker to the structure we had because it was a costly structure. And and then a lot of the mission of the TEC is also connected to its financial stability. So I feel like now we are in some sort of contention phase where um, a lot is slowing down, a lot that is not focusing directly on the financial stability. And I think we've been discussing over the last few weeks of like how can we focus a little bit more our support on that direction, and anything that's needed from sample or understanding like partnerships with other communities. So yeah, something that came up in the last retro call was that it would be really cool to have a template for partnering with other communities. And I think that's something Softgov could do, for example. But it does feel like we're in a moment where we don't have so much to offer, that it would be nice to understand, okay, how can we create a revenue model? And then with that, we can approach other token engineering projects and understand what is like our relationships, what each one is offering. And that's why we were doing this like sentiment analysis poll. And I think the results from that will be cool to spark a discussion on what is the direction to follow and how is everyone feeling about the TC. So yeah, with the reach out, like maybe either by maybe next week we could do that, close the poll and look at the results.
Yeah. With what you said of, there was something you said about, I can't remember, but I thought of the people that's being sort of left out because of the, because of how we are trying to spend less money. And I'm especially wondering if there's anything we could do about those people, like just sort of understanding and making sure when we make these changes that we make them feel as good as possible about them, having potentially to leave an income they have been relying on for some time. I know this is especially true for the comms working group, because that was the biggest working group. And um, I don't know. I guess I'm personally lucky because I wasn't that involved anyways. But I'm not. I don't know. I get the feeling that some guys there may not feel that good, and or if we have been communicating that the best way possible, or I don't know.
Yeah. Um yeah, I think that's a good point to bring people together and see if how everyone is feeling. But also I feel like it's somehow clear from the structure of a DAO that there's not security in the first place. I mean, I think this is still something we are trying to figure it out as an ecosystem, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the, that's very unfortunate. But if you're doing things on a proposal basis, you understand that there might be the chance that a proposal is not going to pass. Not like you have a contract that you know you're going to be paid every month if you're doing what you're like what you agreed to be doing. I think by the default this is already different in a DAO. So yeah, I think there are more conversations to be had about that, but I don't know if security was ever something that was offered.
I mean, not like security, but like um when it comes the time of these contributors, realizing they probably won't be compensated anymore, are we making like are we just not passing proposals like just like they were numbers, or are we just like really approaching them and I don't know, are we being um responsible about them in a human way? I don't know. And I don't know if, I mean, probably we are, but I just don't know. And I guess we could be more aware of if that's happening or not.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That is a good point. I personally don't have that much. I don't communicate so closely with the comms team, but maybe there is some sort. But maybe we could make an event or something. Maybe there's something that um, we could do, like a transition party for the TC, some type of celebration for the structure that is no longer.
Yeah, and
And
I'm mentioning the comms group because I'm more familiar with the situation, but I don't know if even the stewards, because that's another group that's been having a lot of changes lately. I don't know if you guys have had like any. I mean, I'm guessing yes, but I don't know. Like, just there's just a lot of things happening, and there's people behind those things, and we should be making sure that before anything, they are feeling comfortable. And I don't know. I don't want these changes to affect people that much. Of course, if you stop being compensated, that's going to affect you somehow. But if there's anything we can do to sort of just make it easier.
I just have two comments in regards to this. Yeah, I think it's really important what you are mentioning, Nancy. And I think depending on the approach we give to this, it's kind of like saying, okay, we are a company, that we are just like cutting expenses so people won't get compensated, or are we actually more of a community or a commons, right? And how does that actually look like? Like, are we and this kind of like makes me think about also maybe what Manuel has been working on, value theory. And this is something that has been talked about a lot, right? What is the value that the TEC can provide to its contributors? Not just like economically, but also like in as experience, as knowledge, as reputation, as like all sorts of things that have been discussed. So maybe there's some like link between these ideas, right? How can we uh, how can we make feel contributors and participants included in a regular basis, no matter if they are being compensated or not, right? As part of the community, and that they are still getting like a good experience. They are getting something from the TEC as well, so they don't have to leave, right? Or at least maybe they do the effort to, maybe if they require the income, they can find another way, but still participate in the TC because they really feel that they belong and that they are part of a bigger group of people. So yeah, that's kind of like what this that you guys are discussing made me think. I don't know if something like that is what you're mentioning, Antti.
Yeah, I guess not even people staying. Uh, that'd be great, but not that. But more like um, when we have financial problems, we tend to go to the forum or whatever discussion method we have and just say no to everything. Uh, and not it is not always on the best way or the best note. And I know nobody has any ill intentions, but there's people on the other side that may be like, okay, well, why aren't you cutting your expenses? Or what why is it me that I have to let go of what I've been having and doing in the TC? Just like sort of finding a method to even if these proposals don't pass, to let them know that probably wasn't their fault or anything, or just just explain the best way possible. Because I feel like it's different when we have this financial stress. If these situations were to happen on another time, everyone would probably be more cool and discussions wouldn't be so harsh. But as we have this stress over us, comments are not always phrased in the best way possible, and that's kind of what concerns me. Do the people that's not being compensated anymore understand what's happening and why is it happening and what can they do about it? And
Did, did you see that happening? Did you see people like being rude with each other?
um I wouldn't say rude, but I guess not really receptive, or just just a plain no or whatever, not explaining it much. Because I guess I I tend to think that when you say no to something, you sort of kind of either explain or give an alternative, especially in these situations. And a lot of these is, uh, I'm feeling that sometimes, um, unless you come directly to the person or whatever and have a chat, you can't be sure that like what's the reasoning behind that. And I don't know if people take, I don't know how people take that. I don't know.
I have been thinking a lot about this, and it is, for me, I think it is the dark side of being at the vanguard. I mean, we are pioneering new technologies, and some of the assumptions that we might have, of the hypotheses, might be wrong. Um, I'm still trying to reconcile the fact that we will not go back to the way TC was before, at least in terms of like the salary, and that's because we had a bloated budget, I think. Uh, and However, I think it was bloated given our resources, but it was by no means high in terms of the industry average. Um, and so I think that's impacting the culture. Uh, at least the contributors or the people, that are attending. That, and the fact that, yeah, like Enti said, when people, I think in terms of, there was a discussion yesterday, like private profit versus common benefit. Um, I think framing it like that is, it's tricky, because profit carries with it some connotation. So if you frame private profit versus common benefit, um, I would lean towards common benefit, just sort of like because of the stigma profit has. But really, for me, and maybe for a lot of people here, it has not been private profit, but personal income, right? And given the crisis, or given the decrease in the price of BTC and ETH, um, there were a couple token holders, big token holders, that sold. Um, I don't know. I don't know their circumstances. Maybe they lost money and they had to cash out of TC. I think maybe if they had been value aligned, they would have waited more. I think maybe they used the crisis as an opportunity to cash out. I don't know. I'm speculating, but um, yeah, I think the common benefit has sort of like trumped personal things. And again, it's not, it's really not a complaint. I'm certainly not happy, but I'm using the discontent as fuel to come up with a solution. I don't want to complain. I'm really like, and I don't want to leave the TC in a worse position that I came in. And so I'm trying to find ways to create utility for the token, so that more people can drive demand for the token, increase the price, and maybe allow us to fund more initiatives, pay people more, and bring in better talent, honestly. And yeah, I think we're doing the best we can, but yeah, it's tricky. It is. Um, we can discuss it in private, NT, and maybe come up with some concise ideas to post in the forum, because I do feel what we're trying to say, and it's very nuanced. It has to be explained in a way that is not complaining or pointing fingers at people, because certainly we all have our best intentions at heart, and it's trial and error, right? Like, we're at the cutting edge, so that's what happens. Um, yeah, that's what I think.
I think it could be very fruitful to have these conversations in public, actually. Like, if you would like to share more about what you're thinking, if you guys would like to share more about in the open chat, I think those moments are great opportunities for like people to jump in and share what they think. And we don't need to be afraid, of, like, I think resilience comes in too when there is difficult conversations happening in the open.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess just want to clarify that a lot of this isn't necessarily because it has happened, but because I think that if we don't take care of that, it will happen. Uh, the first one of the first conversations we had on being more careful with money was after the first audit that was released around April. So it just has been a few months, and we already have 2 or 3 working groups undergoing major changes, especially on the financial side. And that's likely going to keep happening because we still don't have a clear path to make money. And so when the common pool goes to it is at 600 something, I think. When it goes down to 400 or something, what are we going to do? If we don't take care of that, we are likely going to be a bit more harsh with everybody. Um, just because we want to take care of the TC and we don't want to drain all money, but we gotta be careful with how we communicate that to others, and that's something we should that's something we should take care of as a preventive way instead of just fixing it after it happens, because some communities don't ever um, get back after that stuff happens because you just there are some things you just can't fix.
Is there anything you would like to share, Irene?
Yes, thank you, Liviade. What I'm seeing is different moments and levels of the same thing that what Bear talked about and what MT brought with him. It's about the community and the culture that we want to have. And so what doing something about it sounds like a priority to me. It's like I do care that you didn't had what you asked for. Yeah, sorry that right now isn't possible, but it's like we do care that you go away. So it sounds like really important. And also taking with this experience, acknowledging that there are different levels of community building that we need to bring more into substance, like the forms of capital that Bert was mentioning, and how does that look like, and how can we live that? So yeah, I think it's really important, this topic. And I don't know if a party that has some elements where we can share and hear about their experience, how they feel the changes are coming in their life and in the community. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, thank you all for sharing. I think this is it is really important indeed. And sometimes it's easy to lose perspective of who is being affected by what. And I think this was one of the learnings from having the stewards group having the format it did. I think it did create some type of silo on, like, it was supposed to create more awareness about everyone involved and all the things happening, but I don't know, I still feel like there's a lot of perspectives that are missing. Like the fact that I don't know what's happening in the comms group feels a little problematic, and that probably the comms group doesn't know what's happening here, and like we lost a little bit the connection between the working groups and understanding this. Like the initial purpose of the stewards working group was, okay, how can we keep this a fractal? How can we have all of the working groups communicating through these nodes that are like the stewards? But yeah, that's easier thought than done. And to your point, Barrett, too, I think there is a huge value that the TEC offered to everyone so far. Like I see, for example, Zaptimus is starting to get paid work in other communities about making param parties. Gravity is getting paid work with other communities offering conflict resolution. Edu just found a full-time job based on the experience that he had on TC. I mean, I think Chewy is working with so many things and building communities, and I think there is a lot of value that was really acquired here, and maybe we need time to acknowledge that and have like these experiences being shared and people listening to each other, and yeah, just have a moment for it.
Yeah, I think that would be great, and yeah, I totally agree. I think just the fact of us being here in the TEC and being part of a DAO is already of huge value for us, right? Like, I always like to take a look kind of like at the macro of what we're doing, and it's like what Manu was saying, like it's pure innovation, you know, like if we talk to normal people or people like, you know, that they don't really know much about Web3, they really don't know, they really don't understand what we're doing, you know. But I think that also one of the reasons we are here is because we believe on what we're doing, on the mission, on the technology, and the impact it can have, and that it will probably have in the future, right? So just having the opportunity of being here and working together and collaborating, I would say that it's of a lot of value for a lot of people, or at least for me, that's true, right? So yeah, just yeah, I totally agree, and I think it would be, yeah, maybe that could be also part of this celebration, you know, like sharing these stories that you mentioned, Livy, and you know, that can maybe bring some comfort and some motivation, some excitement about what we're doing, and yeah, especially during these times.
So let's start having ideas about it, thinking how we could make that happen in a fun way. maybe we can all commit to coming next week with an idea for the celebration. Cool.
Sure, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I would
Sounds
like
fun.
to contribute to that.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys. And I'll definitely be more aware of that, NT, of kindness in times of scarcity. Maybe that's a good reminder for all of us, for everyone, how to bring more kindness in.
We should all do.
Okay. So I see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Livia.
everyone. Bye.
Warm
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.